Today is our third day in Geraldine and we need to find something to do. We were meant to go on a canyoning trip, but that's been cancelled. It's just going to be one of those days where things aren't going quite right.
This morning we're waking up in the beautiful Rafferty Backpackers, where today we don't really have much of a plan, but our hosts at the Backpackers suggested that we go check out the Talbot Forest.
Well, let's see what this track has to offer.
It has no time on it, so
it's either super long or super short.
Who knows what we're getting ourselves into right now. The Telfa Forest is a scenic reserve pretty much found in the centre of the little township of Geraldine, and it's connected with a whole network of walks which are really short, really easy to do, but you just seem to dive into this completely native forest which is around 800 years old. The first track that we're checking out is the Kahikatea Track, named after the tallest type of tree that you can find in New Zealand native forests. They can reach up to 40 metres tall, and there's a ton of them right here at the Talbot Forest. The really cool thing about going on New Zealand bushwalks though is that you can often see a lot of native wildlife. For instance, we're on the lookout for a fantail.
Throughout all the guided tours that we've been doing, we gathered heaps of tips on how to attract New Zealand wildlife, including how to mimic the fantail's call. And within only seconds, the fantail is coming down from the top of the trees to check us out. They're super inquisitive, and that fantail call definitely attracted. That's just awesome. The track then leads us to a massive picnic area and then leads us to a next track. The next track that we're going to be tackling is the Tuturro Track. The good thing about all those little tracks that we're doing is that they are all about 10 to 15 minutes long, so we can do a lot today. The Tuturro Track is leading us to, well, a lot of Tuturro trees, and the oldest one in this forest is 800 years old. Tuturro trees are huge, and they used to be used by Maori to create waka, which are their war canoes, and the biggest trees could produce canoes that could hold up to 100 warriors.
The Tuturro Track then leads us onto another little track called the Matai Track, named after another group of trees found in this forest. And these trees have to be my favourite. They have such weird markings on them, a little bit like those army cameo markings. I know, it caught my interest. The Talbot Forest is quite a small forest at only 26 hectares, but this is actually what the whole of the Canterbury area used to look like before the humans migrated to New Zealand. Despite the forest being super close to the Geraldine town centre, it really feels like we're in a super wild environment. There's a lot of really interesting vegetation to look at. Among the giant trees, there's all these vines that are wrapping themselves around each other. It really has a lot to see. The final track that we're hitting today is the Reservoir Track, pretty much named because there's a bit of a reservoir in the middle of it, but we do see some more wildlife, which is these cute little dragonflies. Who says that it's all about the birds in New Zealand? There's some pretty cool insects as well.
And around the end of the Reservoir Track, we are led back toward the Matai Track, which is going to take us back all the way to our camper van. So we are passing in front of beautiful Tuturro trees again, beautiful Matai trees again, and a lot of really lush, luxuriant New Zealand forests. Before we round up this track, we have forgotten to mention that there is heaps of information panels along the way about the early Maori settlers that made a big mark into the region back in the days. But it's now time for us to head back toward our camper van and make our way back to the Rafferty Backpackers without forgetting to stop by the supermarket. So yeah, everything was great, everything was going good. But then we decided to go to the supermarket, buy some bread and ice cream, and one of the roof beams decided to lodge itself into the camper van. Admittedly, I kind of drove into it. So we now have a massive hole right here, right above where we sleep, which is fantastic.
In short, Robin's pissed off, but at least there's plenty of entertainment at the Rafferty Backpackers. Like this swing ball set. I mean, who's played this game since they were 9? At least it's a good way to keep your mind off your camper van problems.
Shit happens and we'll just have to be more careful next time. And to top it all off, Robin breaks his jandals, and he is not happy about it.